Hello and welcome back to another video series here with Discover Dunwoody. I am Mark Galvin, the Director of Marketing for Discover Dunwoody, and we are thrilled to have you come back and join us for another one of our series. Today, we're talking with Paula Shiver, and she is the Vice President of Engagement with the Perimeter Chamber. Paula, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, I have to laugh because Paula's name is Shiver, not Shriver, because there's some famous people named Shriver, right? Yes. And so it's one of those things about names I think are really important that we get that right. And so I had to practice that. Paula's not hard.
No, it's
is
not.
It? But I don't know why I'm doing that. So Paula Shiver, we're so glad you are with us today. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
You are really important to the Chamber and do a lot of great work. Why do you do this work, and what is your kind of history here in Dunwoody?
Well, thank you for that. I do this work because I love people. More importantly, I love Dunwoody. I am a resident of Dunwoody. I have called Dunwoody home since, let's just say, the 60s, for a long, long time. And this is where my roots are, and I really love working with the businesses in this area to help them in any way that we possibly can. And I stepped into the chamber industry from a background in retail, where I worked in the outdoor industry and with some very top, well-respected leaders around service. So service is part of my background, and I've brought that to everything I do at the chamber in trying to help businesses grow and connect and convene and do all the things that is important to being successful.
Well, I love that. And as a member of the Chamber, because Discover Dunwoody is very involved with the Chamber, I get to see you at all the events. And so you are a key part of not only the Chamber's vision, but also its operation. So I just want you to know I appreciate that. And it's one of the reasons that we wanted to talk with you today. There has been something pretty big that happened recently with the Chamber. You guys went through a branding change. It was the Dunwoody Chamber before, and now you switched to Perimeter Chamber. Why the change?
Great question. So yes, our roots are Dunwoody, but we as a organization coming out of a pandemic and really, like all businesses, struggled to sort of find our place in the community, find, really dig underneath everything and find out what's important to people. I mean, just the world did a 360, and
you had to.
We coming out of it tried to find the right space, and I will say, admittedly, we struggled a little bit to find our footing, figure out what the immediate needs were. We tried to be virtual and have a lot of those online networking things, and just really found that everything we tried was sort of struggling to get people to engage, and
that's got to be so important, especially these days. We've all seen this. We all know this by now, that when we went virtual meetings and networking really isn't as effective as the in-person. But I think your revenue comes from membership. Am I right?
That's correct. Yes.
So the vital piece of what goes on at the Chambers, you've got to get these businesses engaged and involved and want to be a part of it. And I would simply say, if I'm a business, why would I want to join a virtual meeting when I really can't network well? So I can totally see why you had to change that. A lot of organizations don't change. They continue doing what they're doing when it doesn't work. You have, so the Chamber switched names, and what will the new name Perimeter Chamber do for you? What's your plan?
Well, we went to a more regional approach, and the reason for that is that, as you said, a lot of people don't understand. Their chambers are built a lot of different ways. We have a saying in the industry, you've seen one chamber, because they're very different. Our organization in particular is, we do not receive funding from city government or other organizations that, a lot of chambers are funded through tourism, but Discover Dunwoody is in that space, which is wonderful. And though you are amazing partners of the chamber, our revenue base is membership driven and event driven. And so to be sustainable, we needed a bigger footprint, but I think more importantly to that is we have some amazing leaders on our board, and they had a vision of taking a look at where we've been historically as a chamber, what has been the sort of space that we've filled, and where we want to go. What's the trajectory of that, and what's important? And we have filled the space quite nicely with networking and convening and bringing people together. But a big piece of what chambers do is advocacy. And small businesses need that networking space, but larger businesses, like all of the great corporations that we're surrounded by today, really need a chamber to be a unified voice for business.
And I think that's really important. And if I could interrupt, only because for those of you who are not in the Dunwoody area, we have some major corporations that are right in this space, including Intercontinental Hotels Group, which we all know is IHG. We have Insight Global here. Cox Communications is right around the corner. WestRock. We have some really large organizations. And if I forgot one, Hapag-Lloyd just recently moved into the neighborhood. So there are a lot of great organizations. Engaging them is an important part of the goal of the chamber and giving value back. And you're working hard to do that.
We are. We have, as a leadership team, done a lot of hard work around educating ourselves around what does the business world look like today? What are the challenges that we're facing for the future? And we have defined some strategic initiatives around those things that are impacting businesses across the nation and across the world. But we're focusing those efforts here regionally. We want, it is our goal to be the convener that brings this dynamic region in the state of Georgia together to solve issues that are impacting the single person entrepreneur all the way up to, State Farm corporate,
That's one of the ones I forgot. State Farm, yes.
I have to mention State Farm.
Yes,
They're
absolutely.
wonderful partners and do such great work in the community. But
that's good.
It's really important to us to bring the right people to the table to solve those issues.
Good. I think that the understanding the why join the Perimeter Chamber is an important key. You said something I think that's real important as well, and that is that previously the Dunwoody Chamber did not see the success that it could have, and rebranding the Perimeter Chamber encompasses a larger part of the region, and we can help engage more of those companies because it's part of the vitality and the success of the chamber. There's a number of strategic initiatives that you've worked on, and you've got some key board members. What do you think the long-term goal is, or what is the long-term goal of the chamber with these strategic initiatives?
Well, ultimately, we would like to bring the right people to the table. Okay. First of all, we want. So
who are the right people in this case?
That's a great question.
Is that CEO level? Is it second tier?
I will. First of all, let me define our strategic initiatives, and then I'll sort of circle back to that. So, the three strategic initiatives that we have identified as being important to all businesses, and where we want to make an impact so that we are really strong for the future of the state of Georgia is, first of all, talent acquisition, winning that war on talent.
Oh, good.
You know, we lost 90% of boomers through the pandemic, and so a huge section of our workforce just decided that they wanted to step away from the workplace, and we are trending to, you know, have jobs that 10 years ago we couldn't have even imagined. Are we training for those jobs? So just talent and making sure that we've got the right education model and those kind of things.
That's good.
So who we bring to the table is going to depend on those initiatives. But our second initiative is diversity, inclusion, equity, making sure that as we're talking about all of those things, again, who we bring to the table is diverse, that we have a broad range of voices there. And we're not just talking to CEOs, we're talking to small businesses. And we're getting the input and the strategies from all across the fabric of what business looks like.
And that is so important, especially in our area, because we have a number of minorities represented in the Dunwoody area, and so getting those voices to the table is so important.
Absolutely. So our third strategic initiative is accessible housing, and that one is going to be extremely important to this area because all of these businesses need workers. I mean, all of these initiatives sort of thread between each other, and you've got talent, you've got diversity, you've got accessible housing, but where do the people that we're drawing from, where do they live? You know, in the 90s, those site representatives for looking for businesses, they were, you know, touting location, location, location. And you know, now it's really more reliant on where can you draw your workforce,
right.
And does that workforce have, you know, those commodities that are important to them, like healthcare, accessible housing, transit, those sort of issues. So, so to loop back to your question about who's at the table or who are those people, it's going to really be dependent on the issues that we're trying to solve, but underlying all of it is making sure that we have diverse voices there and diverse backgrounds trying to solve those issues.
Right.
And we don't profess to be experts at how to solve those. We want to be the conveners that bring the experts together.
That's good. And those voices, and we could drill into each of those and probably talk for a good 20 minutes, and we don't have that amount of time. But I do think, as an example, getting those diverse voices at the table allows you to not have to be the expert because they know that on their own. You know, Dunwoody is a great location in so many facets because we offer so many things, and we do have we have housing here, but it is not affordable. We do have a MARTA station that's right here in Dunwoody, so we're able to bring some people in to take some of those jobs. But jobs are so important, and who would want to get on the train to go to work versus live in the neighborhood where they're working? And so I love the idea of coming up with some sort of option on affordable housing. It's a complex issue, and you can only solve that with the local businesses.
It is a complex issue, and kind of going back to our rebrand and regional approach is we don't have any false illusions that we'll be able to solve affordable housing in Dunwoody. I think it's going to take a broader collaboration between multiple city governments,
Sure. Yeah.
Multiple organizations, and so, you know, each one of these things really requires a bigger voice and
Right.
a bigger footprint, a bigger field of view for the sake of all businesses.
I think that's great. You bring up some other, we'll call them stakeholders in this case, including the city of Dunwoody. Is a very important stakeholder. we are very involved as a major driver of tourism. We like to stay engaged because, like, we're here at the lobby of the AC Hotel, an important stakeholder for us who's also a very important member of the chamber. Being able to be involved in all these spaces is important. You went through a name change, went from the Dunwoody Chamber to Perimeter Chamber. How do you plan on bridging what could be, some people may be upset. I mean, let's be honest. You went from, you dropped the name Dunwoody and Dunwoodians may not like that. How do you plan on bridging that gap with Dunwoodians, if I may, or even the city of Dunwoody, to ensure that they're still included with the Perimeter Chamber?
Great question. Well, you know, I led with how important Dunwoody is to me personally, and how important it is to the legacy of our organization. We started in Dunwoody. We were founded by Dunwoodians.
Right.
We will never lose sight of that. That is truly a very important relationship to us. And Dunwoody is the seat of all of this vibrant activity that's happening around us.
So much.
Their voice at the table is extremely important. And so, you know, my hope is, as we begin to build action around these strategic initiatives, those people who may have less than positive feelings about the change will begin to see the trajectory that we're headed and how important it is for everybody.
Right.
You know, the change and the success is going to be dependent on us bringing together and being strong partners with everyone that touches these regions. I mean, there's multiple chambers in this region that it is important for us to have these strong partnerships, that we're all working together for united goals. Because at the end of the day, it's about businesses. It's about the success of businesses. It's about the success of the economy of the state of Georgia. Our mission is very simple. It's advancing economic prosperity. And we can't do that without the help of all of these important people and all these important entities and governments and all of the people. We're all working towards that common goal.
Mm-hmm. I think earlier you said that your revenue, your sustainability really comes from membership. It does not come from any type of tax, and I like that. The reason is it makes you lean forward a little bit more. You have to be at the tip of the spear to create that sort of attention, to create the need to get businesses involved. And without a doubt, your success will only get the city to lean in. And so we're going to help you succeed. We want to see that happen because it will automatically draw the Dunwoody city in, the city of Dunwoody, the residents of Dunwoody, and they'll start to really embrace the changes. As we continue to talk about the city of Dunwoody, it reminds me that you've got a Chairman Circle membership. We're a Chairman Circle member, and I know that is helping the chamber achieve some goals, and we get some benefits out of that. What are the benefits of being a Chairman Circle member?
Great question. The Chairman Circle is our top 3 tiers of membership, and we consider it our investors, if you will. We have different language around levels of membership. Our sort of our membership base we call partners, and our investors, we strategically call them investors because those people or those organizations at that level are truly investing in the chamber in the way that we are leading these strategic initiatives and helping us fulfill our goals of advancing economic prosperity.
That's great.
The benefits of them are many. I could sit here all day and talk about them. But the overarching benefit is a great deal of brand exposure and really being seen in the community, in the region, as leaders supporting organizations that are supporting business as a whole. So your investment in the chamber helps us do the work to support those smaller businesses that can't invest at the level that you invest.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And I also think it's important for organizations to lean in to help you succeed, because it does help us. I love the fact that we're able to meet some of the other organizations that are our Chairman Circle members as well. I mean, that's one of the things that we struggle with, is how can we connect with the local organizations to say to them, hey, we're Dunwoody, we help get people to stay in our hotels, here are our hotels. That's a big focus of ours. Connecting with those companies is a really important part of our mission. You help us do that.
Absolutely. We do have 4 strategic events this year. You know, who knows what next year will look like. It may be more, but we're bringing those Chairman Circle investors together to have conversations around these strategic initiatives and bringing the people to the table so that you can really make those connections, those important connections that are important to your business. And thank you, by the way, for being a Chairman Circle investor.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure. Well, Paula, thanks for joining us for our quick conversation today. We appreciate the time. And thanks to all of you for joining us. This show is produced by Discover Dunwoody. Our director, our director and producer for this is Madison Holtz. Our sound engineer is Emily Inser-Gibson. I am Mark Galvin, the Director of Marketing. Please join us next time, and until then, go out and discover Dunwoody.